Welcome to my channel. Have you ever wondered why some people improve so fast in English, in life, in anything, while others stay stuck for years? What's their secret? I used to ask the same question until I found one simple answer: practice. But not just any practice, the kind that changes your life. Stay with me till the end, and I'll tell you how practice became my superpower and how it can become yours too. Chapter 1: The Beginning of My Struggle. When I first started learning English, I felt small, not because I was shy, but because every time I opened my mouth, the words came out wrong. I knew what I wanted to say in my language, but in English, everything sounded strange. People would smile politely or correct me, and I would smile back, pretending it was fine. But inside, I felt terrible. I thought, maybe English is not for me. Maybe I am just not good at languages. I remember one day very clearly. I was in a small cafe. A tourist asked me a question in English. It was something simple, like, "Where is the bus stop?" I understood it, but my mind went blank. I tried to speak, but no sound came out. After a few seconds, the tourist smiled and walked away. I felt my face turn red. That night, I went home and told myself, enough. I will never speak English again. For a few weeks, I stopped trying. I avoided English movies. I didn't open my English books. Even in class, I just sat quietly and hoped the teacher wouldn't ask me anything. I felt like I was failing again and again. But one evening, I heard my younger brother talking to a friend online. His English wasn't perfect either, but he spoke without fear. He laughed, made mistakes, and kept talking. And I thought, maybe I was wrong. Maybe the problem wasn't English. Maybe the problem was me. I was too afraid to practice. That small moment stayed in my mind. I couldn't forget it. The next morning, I asked myself a simple question. What if I try again, but this time, I don't stop when it's hard? I didn't know it yet, but that question was the beginning of everything. It was the first step on the path to finding my superpower. Chapter 2: The Day I Discovered the Power of Practice. After that day, I decided to try again, but I didn't know where to start. I still felt nervous when I spoke English. I wanted to be fluent, but I didn't believe I could. One evening, while walking home from work, I stopped at a small bookstore. I wasn't planning to buy anything, but something caught my eye. It was a book about learning languages. The title said, "You don't need to be perfect, you just need to practice." I smiled when I read that line. It sounded too simple. Could it really be true? I opened the book and read a few pages while standing there. The writer said that practice is not about talent. It's about showing up again and again, even when it feels boring, even when you make mistakes. He wrote, "Practice is the secret that makes ordinary people extraordinary." Those words hit me like a light in the dark. I realized I had been waiting to feel ready before practicing, but the truth is, nobody feels ready. You become ready by doing. You don't wait for confidence. You build confidence through practice. That night, I didn't buy the book, but I carried its message in my heart. I decided to make practice my rule. Just 10 minutes every day, reading, speaking, listening, anything in English. I told myself, I won't worry about mistakes. I will just practice. The next morning, I started small. I read a short story out loud. My pronunciation was bad. I laughed at myself, but didn't stop. Then, I listened to one English song and tried to understand the words. I felt proud not because I was perfect, but because I had started. Something changed inside me that day. I stopped being afraid of English. I stopped being afraid of trying. I realized that practice was not a punishment. It was a promise to become better, little by little, every day. I didn't know it then, but that promise was about to change everything. Chapter 3. My first real practice routine. After I made that promise to myself, I knew I had to make a plan, something small, something I could actually follow. I didn't want to start big and fail again. I wanted to make English part of my daily life, like brushing my teeth or making tea. So, I made my first real practice routine. It was very simple. Every morning, before breakfast, I would spend 10 minutes with English. Some days I read a short story. Some days I spoke to myself in front of the mirror. Other days I listened to an English podcast or a song. At first, it felt strange. I used to feel nervous when I heard my own voice speaking English. I made mistakes every few seconds. But I remembered my rule don't stop because of mistakes. So I kept going. I even made a small notebook. I called it my practice journal. In it, I wrote new words I learned each day. I didn't write everything, only the words that felt useful or interesting. I wrote short sentences with them so I could remember how to use them later. One morning, something amazing happened. I went to a local shop to buy milk. The shopkeeper was a kind man who always spoke to me in my language. That day, I answered him in English just a few sentences. He looked surprised but smiled and said, "Your English is good." I felt a wave of happiness. It wasn't perfect English, but it was my English, and someone understood me. That small moment gave me more motivation than any textbook ever did. After that, I started adding more small habits to my day. I listened to English news for 5 minutes every night. I repeated phrases I liked from movies. I even recorded my voice and listened to it later. Slowly, I noticed something my fear was shrinking. My mistakes didn't hurt anymore. I started to enjoy English even when I wasn't perfect. But as days passed, I learned one more truth: practice can be powerful, but it's not always easy. Some days, I didn't want to do it. Some days, I felt tired, bored, or hopeless. I started to wonder, can I really keep going? That question became the test of everything I had learned, and it led me to the hardest but most important part of my journey. Chapter 4: The Hard Days and the Secret of Consistency. After a few weeks of my practice routine, I started noticing small changes. I could read a little faster. I could speak a little more clearly. I felt proud of myself. But then the hard days came. Some mornings, I didn't feel like opening my book. Some nights, I was too tired to listen to English. Sometimes, I made the same mistakes over and over. I felt frustrated. I thought, why am I even doing this? Maybe I will never be fluent. These were the days that tested me the most. I realized that practice is not always fun. It can be boring, tiring, and even discouraging. But I remembered what I had learned. Consistency is stronger than motivation. Motivation comes and goes. Some days you feel excited, other days you feel lazy. But consistency, showing up every day, no matter what, is what makes real change happen. I decided to keep going, even on the hard days. I promised myself that I would do just a little, even if I didn't feel like it. 10 minutes reading, one sentence spoken, listening to one song. That was enough to keep the habit alive. Slowly, I started noticing something amazing. The more I practiced, the easier it became. Mistakes didn't feel like failures anymore. They became lessons. Every mistake was like a small teacher showing me the right way. One day, I spoke to a tourist at the bus station. Normally, I would have panicked, but this time, I stayed calm. I understood his questions and answered clearly. I realized then the hard days had made me strong. All those boring, tiring, frustrating moments had built my confidence without me even noticing. That's when I understood the secret. The power of practice is not just in learning words or grammar. The power of practice is in building patience, courage, and persistence. It is the habit that turns fear into confidence, mistakes into lessons, and small steps into real progress. From that moment on, I no longer feared the hard days. I welcomed them because I knew they were shaping me. And little by little, I could feel that practice was becoming something bigger, something like a superpower. Chapter 5: The change how practice became my superpower. After months of small steps, mistakes, and hard days, something incredible began to happen. I noticed that English no longer felt scary. I could speak in front of people without fear. I could understand movies, songs, and even some podcasts. I could read a story and actually enjoy it instead of feeling confused or frustrated. The change didn't happen all at once. It happened slowly, day by day, with every little practice I had done. I remember one moment clearly. I was at a local park and a tourist asked me for directions. In the past, I would have panicked, but this time I smiled and spoke with confidence. The tourist nodded, thanked me, and walked away. And I thought to myself, wow, I can do this. I really can speak English. That small moment made me realize that practice had transformed me. It wasn't just learning English, it was learning confidence, patience, and persistence. I started noticing more changes in my life. I could help friends with English. I could join conversations without hiding. I felt proud of myself, not because I was perfect, but because I had never given up. Practice had become my superpower. It gave me the courage to try again and again. It turned fear into strength. Every word I spoke, every mistake I made, every small success, it all added up. I also realized something important. This superpower isn't about talent or genius. Anyone can have it. The secret is simple: show up every day, even when it's hard, even when you feel tired or afraid. Each small action builds the superpower. Each practice session strengthens it. And the more you use it, the stronger it grows. Now, I could speak English, understand others, and even teach a few beginners myself. I was no longer the person who froze at a simple question. I was the person who had built a superpower slowly, patiently, step by step. And the best part? This superpower isn't only for English. It works in life, in learning, in every challenge we face. Practice transforms ordinary effort into extraordinary results. Chapter 6: Passing the Power to You. Now, I want to talk directly to you. By sharing my journey, I hope you understand one simple truth. The power of practice is not just mine, it can be yours too. You don't need to be born talented, you don't need a magic trick. All you need is a promise to show up every day, no matter how small the steps. One sentence spoken, one page read, one word learned, these tiny efforts add up, and one day you will look back and see how far you've come. I know it's not always easy. There will be days when you feel tired, bored, or frustrated. You might make mistakes again and again, but that's exactly when practice is working. Each mistake teaches you something. Each small effort strengthens your skills. Each time you don't give up, you are building your own superpower just like I did. Think about it this way. Practice is like water for a plant. A plant doesn't grow in one day. It grows slowly, silently, but surely. The same is true for your English, your confidence, or any skill you want to improve. Every small step, repeated every day, makes you stronger. Every moment you practice, you are moving closer to your goal. So today, I want you to take one small action, read one sentence in English, speak one sentence aloud, or listen to one English phrase. That is enough. Start small, but start now. Keep going, even when it's hard. Believe me, one day you will look back and realize that practice has become your superpower too. And if this story inspired you, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I share simple English stories and tips to help you learn, grow, and gain confidence every day. Like this video if you believe that practice is your superpower, and tell me in the comments, what is the first small step you will take today? Remember, every superpower starts with one small action, and today can be your first step. If this story inspired you, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I share simple English stories that help you learn, grow, and believe in yourself. Like this video if you believe that practice is your superpower too, and tell me in the comments what's one small thing you'll practice today.